A few days passed and they didn't see Jungkook. Jimin and Yoongi tried to talk to Tae, but they didn't talk to anyone. However, Jia and Hyosuk were going to leave Korea for Paris soon. Jia was very happy now. She was going to separate taekook forever. Hyosuk was not. Hyosuk was also going to Paris, bring his son back. He didn't have a problem with that, but Jimmy being gay was like an insult to his glory. He felt that everything that happened to Jimmy was because of Taehyung. On the other hand, Jungkook's house was full decorated, and today he was going to say hi to his Tae, meaning his neighbor house. They was staying at a home they was staying at home. So today he was going to make his favorite food for them. It was the first day, so he wanted to make something very special. They, on the other hand, was sleeping. He had free time today, so he was relaxing. He was sleeping peacefully when suddenly there was a knock on the door. He slept late night. He had to finish his painting, so he stayed awake all night. The door was ringing continuously, and they were sleeping, the door ringing continuously still. At last, he threw the blanket and stood up, his eyes on the door. Picked up the clock and saw the time, 9 a.m. Who waked me up so early? He got up and went to the door. On the other hand, Jungkook was waiting. They was inside, but the door was still closed. He was worried. He thought he called Jimin to ask maybe it was wrong apartment. He was thinking of calling Jimin when suddenly the door opened and Mickey Mouse print shirt and Donald Duck pajamas and barefoot as always. He cleared his throat and said, "Good morning," in a deep voice. Their eyes and mind still asleep, but when he heard Jungkook's voice, he sleep run away. He opened his eyes and stood up straight. His eyes are looking at Jungkook as if Jungkook was a ghost. Jungkook said again. This time, they was convinced that it was not ghost, but actually Jungkook. What are you doing here? He glared at Jungkook. Jungkook smiled. You don't say good morning like that, Mr. Neighbor. Mr. Neighbor? Who? Jungkook pointed at him and himself. What nonsense, they said. It's not nonsense there. I'm your new neighbor. They look at him in surprise. What? Don't you say welcome? They got very angry and tried to close the door without answering, but Jungkook put his hand on the door and opened the door completely and entered. They were shocked to see Jungkook's actions. You can't enter my house like this. He followed Jungkook inside. Jungkook looked around. You didn't let my hopes down, Taehyung. You decorated the house exactly as I thought. Jungkook smiled and looked at Tae, who was looking at him with boring eyes. Should I sit down? Jungkook asked, but there was a silence in response. They looked at Jungkook's hand and then said, Why are you bringing me this shit? Shit? No, it's not. It's food I made with love. On whose orders? I don't need this food and your love. Get out from my house. Jungkook looked at him, then smiled. I deserve. But please eat this. I made with a lot of hard work and love. They come close to him, then took the box from Jungkook's hands. Jungkook smiled, but the next moment his smile faded as they threw the food in the trash. Jungkook eyes on the trash bin, and their eyes on Jungkook. Just as Jungkook's face was sad, their soul was getting satisfaction. Your handmade food and your value this to me. What do you think? You will cook for me and I will gladly accept it. Mr. Jeon, I am no longer an old kid that that's you and your daughter will use. I am now a brave there whom no one can use for on purpose. So it is better not to come front of me again. Each of their words seems to hit Jungkook hard. He looked at them and then smiled. I'll keep trying. I remember how you used to try to win my heart. They kept looking at him. His eyes are empty. No, their things are not affected there. One day, One day you will forgive me there, and then I will win you back, and then all will be well. Jungkook took two steps back. I'll be back. And then he left. His eyes could tear at any moment. They stood there, not understanding anything. He was sorry for his behavior. Jungkook was sounded like he was about to cry. But they had cried too. Now it was Jungkook's turn. They looked at the front door and then at the trash can in the kitchen. That what you deserve, Jungkook. He took a deep breath and rushed to his bedroom. And then it's continued. Jungkook would bring food for there every day. Sometimes breakfast, sometime dinner. They would throw away his food like every day. Jungkook would be sad to see all this and angry with himself. They changed was due to him. If Jungkook support there, all this would never happen. But he did not support there and left him alone. One evening when Jungkook was waiting for Tae like every day, he saw Tae get out of the car smiling with Guy. It was the same person he had seen before. But today, Tae and that person are very close. Jungkook wanted to go in front of him, but he didn't have the right to there, so he watched the whole scene. They waved his friend Minho and turned to look at Jungkook, and his smile turned into anger. He walked straight past Jungkook. He didn't ever seen Jungkook, but Jungkook was looking at him. He wanted to call there. He wanted to question him. But how? He was waiting for the elevator. He turned his back toward Jungkook. They didn't know that Jungkook wasn't standing behind him. They was thinking Jungkook will come with him in the elevator like every day and tease him and talk about past things like every day and they will ignore him. But nothing happened like that today. Elevator door opened and they entered. When he looked outside, Jungkook was not there. They were surprised and angered too. Then the elevator door closed and they went to his destination. On the other hand, Jungkook had a sudden pain in his chest. He wanted to go after there, but he was in a lot of pain. So he sat on the bench. He looked. His right hand was pressing his chest. Tears are coming out of his eyes. Some people stopped in front of him and they asked him about his health, but he was not in a mood to answer. And then suddenly there was darkness in front of him. People called ambulance. He was laying on a bench. After some time, the ambulance came and took him with him. He was sitting on the sofa when he suddenly heard the sound of siren. He looked toward the window and then stood up. Look outside the window. He saw so many people putting someone in an ambulance. And then the ambulance disappeared from the scene. They looked outside the window for a very long time. He don't know why, but he was afraid. He turned and ran toward Jungkook's apartment door. He was about to knock on Jungkook's door when his hand stopped. Jungkook didn't trust him. Jungkook broke his heart. How can he forgive Jungkook? He gritted his teeth. I don't care if you live or die. After saying this, he turned back and closed the door of his apartment from the inside. 2 months have passed, and a lot has happened in these 2 months. The interview are published in a few newspapers and magazines. Jimin and Dion wedding preparation have started. Both of them are going to get married next month. Jimin missing there, but couldn't meet his friend's eyes. He broke their trust. When Dion found out that Jungkook had moved from Korea to Paris and was helped by Jimin, he scolded Jimin a lot, and then he understood after Jimin's explanations. Dion can't forgive Jungkook completely, but he doesn't hate Jungkook either. Yoongi met his brother and they started seeing each other every weekend. In these 2 months, Yoongi had pursued his brother a little bit. He was supported by Bella and now both brothers talking to each other. Jungkook would knock on their door every day for those 2 months and cook for him, but they did not face it. 2 months ago, Jungkook's health suddenly worse and People took him to the hospital where he was kept under observation. The doctor called Jimin and found out that Jungkook's blood pressure was low due to the fact that he was brought to the hospital on time is out of danger. Jimin was sorry to hear about Jungkook's condition. He took care of Jungkook. He started take care of Jungkook like he take care of them. And then Jungkook got better and he promised to take care of himself. Jimin wanted to tell Tae about Jungkook's condition, but Jungkook forced him. And then Jimin did not let anyone know about Jungkook's condition. Minho and Jungkook become a very good friends. Minho was considered bad by Jungkook, but actually he turned out to be a very good friend. And Minho told Jungkook about his and their friendship, but Jungkook had not told him about Tae and himself until now. They was burning with their friendship. Whenever he saw both of them together, he felt bad, but he tolerated them.